Well, hello there. Are we ready to jump into making some DIY stained glass? So I have this section in my dining room that you can actually see from my office as well, which is this cutout. It's covered at the moment with some lattice, but there is a window directly behind it. And I felt like it was prime real estate for making a stained glass window. So as many of my projects begin, I start out by creating a sketch. I make this in Illustrator and I formatted it so that it would print on sheets of paper that I could basically put together like a ginormous puzzle, tape it all to itself, and then be able to cut it out and tape it to the back of my plexiglass so it serves as the perfect template for when I create the lead borders, and it's just paint by numbers from there. So originally I really did want to make actual stained glass with this project. I think it's such a cool art form, but when I started to price out all of the materials, machines, and tools that I would need to get, it ran up incredibly high, and I felt that maybe one day in my life I'll get to do it, but right now I didn't want to spend an arm and a leg. I cut my plexiglass to size using my Dremel tool, an attachment used for plastic. It made the process a lot easier. I got a 1/8 of an inch thick piece of plexiglass, I believe. After I had it all cut up, I just taped my template to the plexiglass. Now, I actually got this idea to do a DIY stained glass for my mom. She, when I was really little, did this effect on the windows of some of our doors, and she was reminding me of that and how it would be such a cool idea to do that, and so I was like, yeah, I totally should take a stab at it. So I started to do a little bit of research on different materials that I could use to make this effect. I noticed that a lot of people use puffy paint or other kind of more liquid or gel-like mediums to create the faux lead look. And oftentimes I feel like it can lead to a more inconsistent look, and I wanted to look really clean, crisp, and polished, and as realistic and similar to real stained glass as possible. So I actually found these self-adhesive lead tape strips essentially online. I cut them in half, and then it just has this nice film backing that you peel off, and you use this tool to perfectly smooth it in place. It's really easy. If it doesn't look perfect, you peel it right off. You can readjust it. You can also mold it to the shape that you want before you actually adhere it. Really easy to cut with scissors, and I felt like it was a really easy thing to use, and it leads for a really nice clean look in the end. I decided to also add little spider webs because how could I not? For this, I ended up cutting the strip into thirds to make them just slightly more delicate and thinner, and I did pre-mold these before adding them since it was so delicate. I used a little bit of Goo Gone and a Q-tip to remove any of the gummy adhesive stuff that was left behind for anything that I did move, and then made sure to give it a really good wiping. Now when it comes to the paint, I decided, there's so many different paint options, but I did decide on using some Elmer's glue and acrylic paint. I like this just because it allowed me to have completely free reign of the colors. I can mix any color I wanted to, and I thought that that would give me a lot more freedom, especially because I was very lost at what I wanted the colors to be. I mixed so many paints, but I'm grateful that I didn't have to feel limited or buy a ton of different paint colors. Now the process of painting this, I just use a brush to smooth out the paint and then used a toothpick to make sure that the paint got all the way to all of the edges of the lead. As you see again, my whole crisis with the colors, I tried many different things, didn't like it, took it away, and kept on going. Thankfully, because this is literally glue, it is so easy to remove. That's another pretty good bonus. Now for the main color of this piece, I wanted it to be really vibrant deep navy. I mixed about 5 different colors of blue, and I used also the colors I had already used previously. I used a paintbrush, and you can add a lot of dimension and shading. I really wanted it to look as similar to glass as possible, so I wanted to have many different shades. I think the key with this part is to really basically flood the entire section with as much paint without obviously oozing out over the lead. So I just started putting in huge globs of paint, all these different colors, and then I would just swirl them around, and it gave a really beautiful effect that looked pretty similar to glass, I think. For the edges, I also decided to use black, but to soften it a little bit, I mixed it with the darkest shade of blue that I had so that it would look pretty cohesive. Now at this point, honestly, I was feeling kind of stumped. I was staring at this for a few days and feeling like I really hated it. And I tried to take a step back, and I noticed also that because I had applied the paint so thin in the middle portion where the diamonds are, that it was starting to bubble up and lift up, especially where the little spiderwebs are, because those are such small sections. So I decided, after thinking and pondering for a little while and considering what I could do to fix this, I just removed all of that middle portion. Thankfully, in preparation of this project, I had also bought some of this transparent paper, like the privacy paper that you can put onto windows, and I thought that it looks very stained glass like, and it would make a really cool textural effect. And I think that the clear just looks a lot more elegant and sophisticated, which is more the route I was wanting to go. So anyway, for this part, I just put the paper over top of the section. I traced it out using a micron pen, and then I just cut it. And it's very easily applied by just removing the film off the back and then using a little bit of water. Again, it's really easy that if you make a mistake, you cut too much, something's wrong, you can easily take it off, put it on. I think that was the nicest thing about this. I didn't feel married to any color, to anything, because everything is very easily removable, and that gives me a lot of peace of mind, especially when you're trying to play around with colors, textures, and all that stuff. It definitely was the trickiest to fill in the sections with the spiderweb because, again, really, really small pieces. I just decided to trace everything all at once and then just took my time adhering everything. Now for installing it, I was running through a bunch of different ideas, but I decided that nailing it would probably make it the most secure. So I just used a drill bit to drill these tiny little holes that I can use to nail into the wood, because there is a lip of wood in the back. And here we have our DIY stained glass window. Thank you so much for joining me on today's project. I hope that you enjoyed it. If you did, I would so appreciate it if you gave me a like and subscribe to this channel, because it really helps me out. I hope that you have a wonderful day or night wherever you are, and I will catch you in my next video. Bye for now.